Early game maybe give you a little chance to watch some of the other Big 12 teams this week. Impressions as strong as you thought they were heading into conference play?
I didn't watch a lot of just the ones that we're getting ready to play. So I haven't watched probably half of them yet, but watch the ones we're going to play here.
The ones Texas Tech and the guys coming up.
Texas Tech, yeah.
Your impressions there?
Yeah, I think it's a vintage Chris's team. They run great offense. They make you score over top of them. They just don't turn anybody loose to the basket. They're offensively patient. They've got guys who consistently make perimeter shots, and they just don't have the shot blocker that they had a year ago. But other than that, Ramsey's really good. I mean, he's really, really good. There are people saying he may be the best freshman in the country. So that's pretty high praise.
Clark's a pretty unique challenge here. A ball handler that big at the top of the key. What do you see from him?
Pretty much what you said. He passes the ball well. I think he gives them an opportunity to take a big away from the basket and then play their 2-on-2 games on the side. And you can run really good offense and not have somebody who delivers the ball, which we have gone through for a while, where I think we're starting to get better at knowing where to throw the ball or when to throw the ball. But he does a great job.
Seems like Derek is a natural for that one. They probably take advantage of smaller guys to have to guard him. Derek is a natural guard for him, you think?
I think Derek will be good.
Yeah.
Derek's pretty versatile. I mean, we could play him in the 2-on-2 situation too, and he'd do a really good job. That's all I got.
Chris Beard has had to obviously fold a lot of new components in. That's something that you've done a couple times in your recent history there, bringing a lot of new players in. What is the most important job, the things you have to accomplish, to make that as much of a seamless transition as possible?
No, I think their path was a lot similar to ours. They got the practice in the summer because they were going to overseas, and they went over there and played games, which I think was a big help to us. And he's a good coach. I mean, he's really a good coach. I think he's obviously one of the better coaches in our league and one of the better coaches in the country.
We hear this roster management a lot these days because the way the guys are transferring, whatever. He's turned that team around, and I guess done a pretty good job with that. What's your thoughts on roster management these days? It's a little different than it was.
It's something different for you guys to talk about.
Yeah.
It kind of gets boring talking about the same stuff, so
Yeah.
you come up with other things to talk about. I think that's one of them. I mean, I personally, I'm not for it. There's nothing wrong with people transferring, but you should have to sit a year. I mean, it's been that way forever, and I think it ought to continue to be that way. And this deal of guys just jumping from team to team it's not the NBA. It's college basketball.
But he's been able to take advantage of the situation to keep it going there.
Yes. Yeah. I think Clark is a great example.
You sat a year when you transferred.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? That had to be awful.
It's not fun. I mean, but it shouldn't be really. I got to practice with the team. I sat on the bench for a few games, and then I found it was more fun sitting in the student section.
I understand. Did you have like
So
a John Caney face? Hold up.
So I crossed the floor. Yeah.
Did you heckle your guys?
No, I heckled the opponents. I was right in amongst them.
Bob, how is Derek different now, off the court, on the court, than he was a year ago?
He's a lot more disciplined. He's a lot more disciplined off the floor. He's a lot more disciplined on the floor. he's learned a lesson that we all need to learn. That's, sometimes you need to just shut up and listen. And he's been great. I mean, talking about a guy who a lot of people didn't think could make it. He's a 3.75 academically, and he's the most versatile big man maybe in America, certainly in our league. He's the most versatile big. I mean, he can guard guards, he can guard post guys, he's passes the ball well. He's come a long, long way.
We saw Monday. Was that maybe the back end of offensively? Was that the back end of a long road trip, or what do you think you saw there from both teams offensively?
We just had many shots, and that happens, and I think it becomes a psychological thing. And you can't think about shooting while you're shooting. You just need to trust your technique and let it go. And we've been shooting it flat, which I hate, because at least if you get it over the rim, we got a chance to rebound it. But we've been shooting it flat, and I thought yesterday we started to shoot it better. We didn't shoot it very well on Wednesday, but we shot it better yesterday. We didn't shoot it great. We didn't shoot it the way we were shooting, but I think we can.
Do you work on just improving the sets that you're running? Do you tweak some things to maybe do some things, or what do you do there?
We do it every day. I mean, and you tweak things. I mean, according to how they're going to play things. That's what you do. You look at film, you find out how they're going to guard certain things, and then you figure out how you can make it a little harder for them to guard it.
Well, that's just a component of game planning then, right? Not things that you think you can do better regardless.
Yeah, that's more at this time of year, it's game planning.
Okay.
Like earlier in the year, it's more figuring out, who's more effective where.
Coach, obviously, Emmett had the big game against them in the tournament last year. What do you got to do to, get him going again? What are you seeing with his game right now?
I think a lot of it's confidence. It's amazing when the ball goes in, what happens to your confidence. And he shot it really well early. I mean, he was one of the guys who carried us early, and then he just started missing shots. He's missing everything short, not getting it over the rim. For the most part, it's on line. It's not going over the rim.
I don't have statistical evidence of this, but it looks like the scoring's down in the league. Is it a function of really good defense, you think, from what you've seen? Teams you've studied?
I think that and familiarity.
Okay.
We didn't have the turnover in the league that we had for a long time. I mean, there was years when you look around and you're having to introduce yourself to new guys in the coaches' meetings. I think that's the biggest thing is we haven't had the turnover that we've had coaching wise, and then the second thing, I think you're right, and that's familiarity. You know pretty much what you're going to get. Like with Tech, personnel's changed, but the core of what they do hasn't changed.